Believe that Britney was like to Diddy and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cassie just name-dropped Britney Spears in the Diddy trial as she was on the stand.
And Diddy inviting heavyweights like Britney to flex his clout.
What do Diddy and Britney Spears have in common? At first glance, nothing. But a shocking link between them was just revealed in court, sending shockwaves through the courtroom. Things got intense when evidence surfaced about their connection through a secretive event known as the Freaks-Offs party. Suddenly, all eyes were on Diddy. What exactly was he hiding? And why did he react so strongly?
Believe that Britney was like to Diddy and
Absolutely. Absolutely. All of those girls, all of those Mickey Mouse girls, including Christina Aguilera, all of these children have been fit. Part of the reason why they can't tell you is because they were drugged when most of what was happening to them was happening. And what they have left are the memories and the nightmares.
You believe that Bieber has been trying to expose Diddy for years, because if you look at his Yummy video, there's a lot of indicators that he was trying to expose what these elites are really doing to children. He used pizza images a lot.
Rihanna, all of them. Listen to their music after they get their big hit record and their deal. That Lou Taylor is friends with Diddy. They're all listed on the charter of that same church.
Over here. Y'all can bring the 500 cameras over here. Y'all can bring it to George Clooney or Tom Cruise or Will Smith.
So you're saying give Britney a break?
Give Britney or any woman or children, you're supposed to have rules to the game. There's supposed to be, there gotta be rules to the game. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And don't put nobody in danger driving, you know? I think that right now everybody's treating everybody in the world like they can't make a mistake or they have to be this perfect thing. Whether it's Barack Obama, Reverend Wright, whether it's Miley Cyrus or, you know, Britney Spears. Everybody has to be perfect. And life ain't like that.
Cassie just name-dropped Britney Spears in the Diddy trial as she was on the stand testifying. She said, Sean was there and he brought Dallas Austin, Britney Spears. I think those were the two that stand out to me. Now, what she is talking about is her 21st birthday party that took place on September 8th, 2007. The picture is right above. You see Britney with Diddy, Paris Hilton, and then there's Dallas Austin next to her.
This is gonna blow your mind. This is the evolution of Britney Spears from 2000 to 2024. And look what happened in 2003. Who's this guy? Anyone recognize him? And also pay attention to what happens in 2007.
Right now, P. Diddy is looking at spending the rest of his life in prison for human trafficking and also assault towards Cassie Ventura, who was his ex-girlfriend. Cassie Ventura has explained that one way P. Diddy would always try to manipulate her was trying and getting other celebrities to come to parties, with one example being Britney Spears, who came to Cassie's 21st birthday party. That birthday party was actually the night before the 2007 VMAs, where Britney Spears had one of the worst performances of her career, and many called it the beginning of the end. And after that happened, Britney Spears actually came out apologizing for the performance, saying she was extremely tired, having no sleep the night before, and did admit to being hungover. Now it's been insinuated that story actually goes much deeper, where P. Diddy might have tried to set Britney Spears up that night, getting her drunk on purpose and keeping her up to try and get her to have a bad performance. From the point of view that P. Diddy had this idea that if Britney Spears' career tanked and she was losing popularity, she would be more reluctant to sign with his record label instead. From Cassie Ventura's point of view, she said that Britney Spears was just a pawn to P. Diddy to try and get her at that birthday party for Cassie, so she'd be so impressed she would date P. Diddy. It actually worked, because that was the first night ever Cassie Ventura did kiss P. Diddy. For Britney Spears, it's not likely she was ever seriously abused by P. Diddy, but it definitely seems like she was a pawn in his plans, and with that, I'm Charles Sproul. Subscribe and learn something.
So what exactly is the Freaks-Offs party? And why is everyone talking about it? For years, this mysterious event was the stuff of Hollywood whispers. Industry insiders gossiped about it at late-night parties, but no one dared to speak about it openly. According to rumors, it was an invite-only gathering for top-tier celebrities, wrapped in secrecy. Even major Hollywood players only knew of it through hushed conversations. The location kept changing, which made it even harder to track. And what supposedly went on inside was nothing like your average A-list celebration. Until now, everything about the party was just speculation, fuel for gossip blogs and anonymous tips. But that all changed when the current trial brought real evidence into the spotlight. Suddenly, the Freaks-Offs party wasn't just a rumor. It became a central piece of a much bigger story involving power, fame, and hidden agendas among Hollywood elites. The evidence suggests these parties were more than just flashy get-togethers. Behind closed doors, things reportedly happened that could ruin careers if exposed. The details remain unclear, but the mere mention of them was enough to keep reporters and the public hooked for years. One name kept popping up in the background: Sean "Diddy" Combs. For a long time, there were quiet accusations that he was behind these events, planning, attending, and protecting them with his influence in the entertainment world. His reputation and connections made it seem plausible, but nothing was ever confirmed. That is, until now. In this trial, prosecutors have openly named Diddy as a key figure tied to these parties. And just when things couldn't get more surprising, another name emerged: Britney Spears. Yes, Britney, the former teen idol turned pop sensation. Her unexpected connection to these events took everyone by surprise. Her name alone stirred up the courtroom and raised even more questions about what really went on. This trial is showing just how quickly carefully managed celebrity images can unravel. What used to be dismissed as wild tabloid rumors has now become the focus of serious legal claims. How exactly Britney fits into this hidden world is still unclear. But one thing is certain: the mystery is keeping everyone watching. The courtroom was stunned as the allegations came to light, far more shocking than anything that had ever been rumored before. But the biggest question still hangs in the air. Was Britney really involved, or is there more to her story than we know?
Now, instead of showing a photo at the end of 2024, I'm going to show you a video of how she looks now as of a month ago, so stay tuned. But here, the famous Meltdown 2027, I also found her reportedly going to Diddy parties in 2007, and then the whole situation. Coincidence? I don't know. You be the judge. Either way, she's looking pretty good afterwards, as if, she survived Diddy. I have nothing bad to say about Britney Spears. I hope everything's going well for her. I hope she continues to be successful. But at some point soon, it does look like she starts to become a slightly different person. But I'll let you guys be the judge. What do you think? Is it the same person from here to here? And moving forward? Do we have a different Britney? Has she just aged? Is it none of my business? Is it none of all of our business? Either way, stick around, because in 2024, she has made an appearance about a month ago, and you're about to see what that is. I'm gonna get out the way. Here you are.
I forget I'm famous sometimes.
2024.
I'm kind of old, but I thought it was kind of cool. The Sabrina girl, Carpenter, she said something by and I was like, thanks, that's cool. She made me cool. Okay, maybe not.
According to a bombshell report by Shutterscoop, Diddy's been bragging for years about hooking up with Britney that very night. A longtime associate claims Diddy told this story dozens of times, laughing about how Britney was crazy in bed and out of control. He thought it made him look like a player, another notch on his belt. Photos from that night show Britney and Diddy cozying up together. Her eyes are hidden behind sunglasses indoors at night. Just to keep that in mind. Now, she was looking like she could barely hold herself together. In 2007, Britney was 25, a global superstar, but her life was unraveling. She lost custody of her 2 young sons, was battling addiction, and was trapped in a toxic conservatorship that controlled her every move. The media was ruthless, painting her as a fallen idol. Meanwhile, Diddy was at the peak of his power. Bad Boy Records mogul, fashion icon, party.
How could one of the world's biggest pop stars end up linked to such a secretive and scandalous scene? That question stunned the courtroom as prosecutors introduced new evidence tying Britney Spears to the infamous Freaks Off's party. The moment the judge allowed Britney's name to be mentioned, the entire mood in the room changed. This trial was already full of shocking claims, but this revelation took it to a whole new level. Gasps filled the gallery. Even veteran reporters looked shaken, and all eyes turned to Diddy, who sat frozen, giving nothing away. The prosecution, revealed a set of encrypted messages said to come from a platform used to coordinate these exclusive celebrity gatherings. On screen, the court was shown emails and texts that seemed to place Britney at not one, but two of these secretive parties. One message hinted at a white-hot headliner making a surprise appearance. Another named Britney directly as the guest of honor. That alone sent the courtroom into a frenzy. These messages were dated from the same period when Britney was under intense public and legal control through her conservatorship. That detail made the situation even more disturbing. Then came the most dramatic moment. A witness, a former assistant to one of the event organizers, took the stand. They confirmed the messages were real and testified that they personally saw Britney arrive at one of the events. According to the witness, she was brought in privately, escorted inside quickly, and kept away from most of the other guests. Still, just her presence at such a controversial party left everyone in shock. But it didn't stop there. Prosecutors also presented a blurry photo from one of the parties. It showed a blonde woman in the background of a dimly lit room, someone who looked strikingly like Britney. The courtroom buzzed with speculation. While the image wasn't crystal clear, the witness and legal team strongly implied it was her. What made it even more complex was the timeline. These alleged appearances happened during the height of her conservatorship. That raised serious concerns. Was Britney there by choice, or was she forced to attend? With each new piece of evidence, the courtroom's focus shifted even more to Britney. Her name, once linked only to fame, talent, and controversy over her legal battles, was now being brought into an entirely different kind of scandal. Whether she was an active participant or a victim of yet another layer of control, her involvement has become one of the most shocking turns in this trial. And for Diddy, as this evidence came to light, it was clear the consequences were only just beginning.
More pictures from that night. There's Britney. Obviously, that's Cassie and Diddy. More pictures from that night. Britney standing next to Diddy, 50 Cent, Paris. Another one from that night. Britney with Diddy, Cassie. Why is this important? Well, September 8th, 2007 was the night before the MTV Video Music Awards, the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards, where Britney Spears performed her now infamous performance of Gimme More. Now, also why it's important, because Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill from TriStar Sports and Entertainment allegedly were the ones that orchestrated Britney's conservatorship to begin with, and they have been named in this Diddy lawsuit multiple times. It's a little bit jarring because the Britney fandom has always had questions about that night. These pictures are not new. We've seen these pictures for a long time, but we've always had questions on what went on that night, because Britney just didn't seem okay the next day.
It's September 7th, 2007, and Las Vegas is buzzing. The Strip's alive with neon lights, thumping music, and A-list celebs are bouncing from club to club. Britney Spears, the pop princess herself, is at Pure Nightclub for Cassie Ventura's 21st birthday bash, hosted by none other than Sean Diddy Combs. Paris Hilton's there, music producer Dallas Austin is in the mix, and the VIP section's a chaotic swirl of champagne, flashing cameras, and a lot of narcissistic egos. Anyway, Britney's already under a microscope, fresh off her divorce from Kevin Federline. That head-shaping moment, you guys remember that back then? And the relentless paparazzi stalking her every move. She's trying to claw her way back with a new single, Gimme More. Now, that was set to debut at the MTV VMAs in 2 ways. But that night, tonight, she's partying and the world was not watching.
The moment Britney Spears' name came up in court, all attention turned to Diddy. Sitting at the defense table, he had been calm and collected until that point. Arms crossed, occasionally whispering to his lawyers, projecting quiet confidence. But as soon as prosecutors started linking Britney to the mysterious Freaks Offs party, everything changed. Diddy leaned forward, clasped his hands tightly, and stared at the screen as messages and other evidence were presented. His jaw tensed. It was a small shift, but one that didn't go unnoticed. As the courtroom fell silent, broken only by the soft sounds of paper shuffling and quiet gasps. Prosecutors laid out text messages that showed Britney had been invited to these exclusive events. Then came the key witness, someone who claimed Britney wasn't just a guest, but a central figure at one of the parties. That's when Diddy's cool exterior started to crack. He didn't speak or shout, but his eyes darted toward his legal team with sudden urgency. At one point, he seemed to whisper something under his breath and let out a sharp breath, barely audible but full of tension. Then came the photo, a blurry image said to show Britney at one of the gatherings. That's when Diddy visibly reacted. He leaned back sharply, folded his arms, and turned slightly toward the gallery. His foot tapped nervously on the floor, and for a moment he shook his head. Whether in frustration, disbelief, or both, no one could say. It was the first time during the trial that his emotions slipped through. Outside the courtroom, legal experts and commentators jumped on Diddy's reaction. Some saw it as a crack in his defense, maybe even a sign of guilt. Others thought he was simply blindsided by claims he didn't expect. Either way, the headlines exploded within hours, breaking down his every movement. Diddy's legal team quickly tried to manage the damage. They said his reaction wasn't about guilt. It was frustration with what they called unreliable evidence. One lawyer, speaking off the record, brushed off the Britney claims as a desperate distraction, but that only fueled more speculation. People weren't just focused on the evidence anymore. They were watching Diddy's behavior closely. When court resumed after a short break, Diddy returned to his seat stiff and silent. He didn't look around. He didn't react. Something had clearly shifted. Was this a man suddenly caught off guard? Was he hiding something more? And most importantly, what was Britney Spears' real connection to these secretive, controversial events clipped?
After they left Pure, they moved to 50 Cent's after party at the Hard Rock Hotel, and the night, it stretched into the early hours of the morning. Insiders say that Britney was glass-eyed, disoriented, clinging to Diddy in a way that raised everyone's eyebrows. Now fast forward to September 9th, 2007. Britney takes the stage at the VMAs to perform Gimme More. It's supposed to be her big comeback, the moment she proves she's still got it. Instead, it's a train wreck. She stumbles through the choreography, lip syncs off beat, and looks like she's somewhere else entirely. Critics rip her apart, calling it the lowest point of her career. Fans, well, they're left heartbroken. Britney later admits in her 2023 memoir, The Woman in Me, that she hadn't slept that night before, had a panic attack backstage, and felt forced to perform despite begging to back out. She wrote, "I knew it was going to be bad. I was a mess." But what she didn't say, and what's now coming to light, Cassie Ventura, his then girlfriend, was a rising R&B star signed to his label. That Vegas night was her 21st birthday, and Diddy pulled out all the stops, inviting heavyweights like Britney to flex his clout. But here's the problem. Diddy's not looking so untouchable anymore. In September of 2024, as we know, he was arrested on federal charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation for prostitution. He's been in a Brooklyn detention center ever since, pleading not guilty, of course. But the evidence is piling up, okay? We've been covering the case. Cassie's 2023 lawsuit against him, settled out of court for $20 million, accused him of rape, physical abuse, and forcing her into drug-fueled freak-offs, which we know was with all these male escorts from around the country, and she's getting it on while he watches. Her testimony in Diddy's ongoing trial, which, like I said, we've been covering, is where Britney's name first resurfaced.
What brought Britney Spears to these secretive, infamous parties? And what role did she really play in the mysterious world of the Freaks-Offs party? That was the big question after prosecutors laid out their case. The claims about Britney's involvement mixed fact with speculation. The evidence didn't just show her name on a guest list. It suggested she might have been brought to these events under conditions that raised more questions than answers. Witnesses described a timeline that went back to some of Britney's toughest years during the height of her conservatorship. One witness said they saw Britney arrive at a Freaks-Offs party in the early 2010s, pulled up in a black SUV, quickly led inside, and looking distant and withdrawn. She seemed out of place among the wild personalities and chaos of the party. This raised a key question. Was Britney there by choice, or was she being controlled by others managing her life at the time? Adding to the mystery were texts and emails shown in court. Some referred to Britney as the headlining surprise for a guest list full of entertainment big names. Prosecutors argued this meant she was purposely invited to be a main attraction, though it wasn't clear whether she agreed or was pressured to attend. One email from 2012 said Britney was hesitant to go, but that powerful people made sure she showed up. This hinted at possible coercion, shining a harsh light on her conservatorship and control over her life. These claims clashed with the public image of Britney as a pop star trapped by a controlling conservatorship, fighting for her freedom. Now, the story being told in court was different, one of secret parties and possible exploitation. Her supporters quickly suggested that if Britney was involved, it might have been against her will, just another way those in charge used her. The trial's most shocking moment came when prosecutors showed a second, clearer photo. It showed a woman who looked like Britney standing alone in a quiet corner, avoiding the crowd. Though not conclusive, the photo caused a stir in the courtroom and sparked a frenzy online. Social media erupted, with fans split, some angry, others wondering if Britney had been pulled into something far beyond her control. So far, nothing solid proves Britney's real role. The Freaks-Offs party mystery has layers that keep people guessing. Was she there by her own choice, or was she forced? As the trial goes on, her defense team is expected to tackle these questions head-on.
Cassie told the jury that Diddy invited Britney and Dallas Austin, her ex-boyfriend, to her Vegas birthday party, and that the beginning of the relationship was kind of marked publicly with a kiss. Photos from Getty Images confirm Britney was there, posing with Diddy, Cassie, and Austin at Jet nightclub, another spot they hit that night. Now, I'm not sure of the mechanics of how her relationship worked, but Cassie was with Dallas Austin first. He was her producer. Then Diddy met Cassie and signed her, and that's when he made the move to take her away from Dallas Austin. So I don't know if Cassie was still with Dallas at that time, and this is when Diddy made his move, or would Dallas come to her party after Diddy has snatched her away? I don't know how it works, but it's all crazy. But understand, this was the very beginning of Cassie and Diddy's relationship, or close to it. And this is also where allegedly the violence began. Witnesses like Cassie's makeup artist, Mila Morales, who testified, and Diddy's former assistant, George Kaplan, they both testified about seeing Cassie with bruises and injuries allegedly from Diddy's violence. Kaplan even quit working for Diddy because he felt shook by the rapper's actions towards the women in his life. Not only seeing just small things with Cassie, but another woman named Gina. And this also includes a 2015 incident where Diddy was on a private jet to Vegas and started abusing Cassie right there on the plane in front of everyone.
Could the defense explain Britney Spears' alleged link to the Freaks-Offs party? That was the big question as Diddy's legal team stood up to respond to the shocking accusations. Until now, the trial had focused on revealing scandalous details. Now, it was the defense's turn to challenge those claims. They took a firm stance. Britney's connection was based on weak evidence, unreliable witnesses, and people's fascination with her personal struggles. Right from the start, the defense called the allegations a desperate attempt to grab attention. They said dragging Britney's name into this wasn't just a distraction. It was a way to make the trial seem even more sensational. One lawyer told the court, "The evidence is flimsy at best. stressing that the prosecution's story lacked real proof. The defense attacked the credibility of witnesses who claimed to have seen Britney at these parties. They pointed out that some witnesses had changed their stories several times, which made their testimony less trustworthy. Then they went after the text messages and emails, the heart of the prosecution's case. A forensic expert was brought in to question their authenticity, suggesting the messages might have been altered or taken out of context. Without full access to the servers, the expert said, it was impossible to verify timestamps or prove Britney was directly involved. "We're looking at fragments," the expert explained, "fragments that don't tell the whole story." This technical argument raised doubts in the courtroom. Was the evidence being twisted or misunderstood? One memorable moment came when the defense tackled the blurry photo that supposedly showed Britney at one party. Their own expert testified that the grainy image was unreliable and could easily be mistaken for someone else. By the time cross-examination ended, even some people in the courtroom were unsure if that blurry photo was solid proof at all. But not everyone bought the defense's argument. Many thought their quick dismissal of Britney's connection felt too convenient, relying on doubt instead of offering real proof to clear her name. Public reaction was split. Some believed the defense had successfully knocked down the claims, while others accused them of dodging the issue rather than disproving it. Observers compared this to other celebrity trials, where defense teams often use confusion and uncertainty to sway judges, juries, and the media, with mixed results. A key moment came when the prosecution pushed back on the defense's email expert, reminding the court that multiple sources had confirmed the chain of custody for those messages. That undercut part of the defense's argument, keeping doubts alive despite their strong efforts. It was clear both inside the courtroom and outside in public opinion that the debate was far from settled. While Diddy's team made some progress casting doubt, the question remained, was it enough to wipe Britney Spears' name from this scandal? One thing was certain, this trial had grown beyond just Diddy. Both his and Britney's reputations were on the line. The case had become more than a legal fight. It was a spotlight on the secret world of celebrity power, control, and exploitation. The Freaks-Off's party allegations forced tough questions. Was Britney a victim during her most vulnerable years? Or was this just another overblown connection? The trial continues. The fallout keeps spreading, challenging the carefully managed stories we've all heard about these stars. What do you think? What's the real truth behind Diddy, Britney, and these shocking allegations?